Hello, my soul fam. Ivano Rose here. In this episode, we'll be talking about the splitting of the prism. That's the elephant in the room. I think we should all know about this phenomena. It's not just a concept happening somewhere else in the metaphysical realm. It's very much happening to us in real life. And it's time that we really realize the gravity of the choices that we're making at this time and the consequences that shall follow. For not just ourselves, but for our families, for our communities, our nations, and the earth, for sure. So I was listening to something about the splitting of the prism as Bashar, who's channeled by Daralanka. He's been one of my major teachers. I've learned so much from him. And if once you can get past the logical hurdle that the mind might put in your way, and that he's a channeled entity, whatever, extraterrestrial, then you would not, the kind of wisdom and the way he talks about things and the way he approaches subjects is very logical. It's like the rational mind can understand those kind of things. And of course, he can go way deep depending on the questions. People just ask all sorts of questions to him about everything. And he's so amazing, and I'm so thankful to him. So for all of you, if you're looking for a teacher, or also looking for other resources that you can go for, you're serious about your journey. Of course, if you're listening to me, I'm serious about my journey, so you must be too. Or you might be triggered, whatever it is. But the thing is, you can also listen to him. I recommend him highly. Anyways, that's besides the point. What I was saying is that, as I've already talked about, the earth is transcending into a more evolved version of herself. And that's also happening to us on all levels, because earth is us, on one level. So it's happening on all of the levels of I, from the global to the individual internal dynamics with ourselves. And of course, everything is a projection from within to the external world. And that's how we can change our reality. And that is where the power lies. That's why the spiritual awakening journey is so important. Because that's when you realize that all the answers lie within. All the void that you've been trying to fill through external things, addictions, people, relationships, or money, or whatever it is for you, it cannot be filled by any of those things externally, and can only be filled by one connection, by remembering your connection with the divine inside, or your higher self, or God, or existence, or that benevolence, whatever you want to call it, whatever you name it, does not matter. Call her mother. But I also use other terms. I use all the terms. But the thing is, what I wanted to share, and I just felt like I just have to record this right now, was because in my reality itself, I've been realizing that there are like sort of two versions of me. For simplicity's sake, I'm using number 2. They're infinite versions of me. But just to make this information more, not just digestible, but also relevant and useful and practically applicable, let's just say I have 2 versions, and that's how I'm using this idea. 2 versions. One is stuck in her old ways. One is stuck in her 3D world, her drama, trauma, ignorance, and lack of self-awareness, and all those patterns that keep her small, self-sabotage, fears, doubt, worries, insecurities, panic. Those are the qualities that define her, So it's a whole pseudo personality that I see within me. It's like she has her own life, and that I'm, and I'm just releasing. The whole work of this spiritual journey is to slowly start to change the narratives that this version, the pseudo mental personality that we have created out of distortions, is saying that we are, which we are not. So we just have to change all those belief systems and see them for the truth. And of course, put positive beliefs in, like a coding, like you're changing the coding of your mechanism. So anyways, the second version, so this is like the 3D version that I see inside. It's like a frequency, it's like a tune, it's like a channel, It's like when I'm on that channel, my life is misery. I attract one hurdle after another. I'm constantly overwhelmed. There's all sorts of fears that pop into my head. I'm very easily triggered. And I feel like blaming people, all the diseases, all of my mental, emotional, all diseases like just get so much power when I allow myself to slide into that kind of vibration. And I have been doing the work. So it's not like I'm trying to spiritually bypass and just cut the whole process and just directly jump into 5D, which is also possible for some of you, is why I'm also sharing. Because if you know about Ashtavakra Magita, Osho has also talked about this. I think it calls out to you should listen to it. It's amazing. But that talks about the direct part, the path of just cutting through the illusions directly. So I think it really helped me to know that, okay, that is also a way out. Like you can just have that realization one day that, okay, you are just one with everything, and nothing is holding you back, and you have like full power over yourself, and you just remember who you are. In of course there's intensity to this. So even when I'm saying only the intensities that I've thought of unraveled within me, I can talk from those lens, but I hope this makes sense. But this might resonate with some people, some of you out there. That's why it's coming up. So see what you need to do with this idea. But for those who are sort of going through the process of changing of self-identity and concept, but not in a drastic way that you're just in 1 second you're enlightened. For many of you, it might be a journey. Like not like Eckhart Tolle, that one night he was feeling miserable and suicidal, and then he was just awakened. That's the story that he's shared, which is very amazing, very inspiring. But for many of us, it'll be like a journey, a process. It could be sooner or later, depending on where we are and how long do we expect it to be, and also the karmas and the ties that we think that we have to sever and all those things. But what I was saying was that there is this whole 3D personality that I saw. It's like a frequency. So it's like on that version of me is like a whole messy, chaotic 3D person stuck in the matrix, and she is in for big troubles, big problems in her life. She is up for doom and gloom and being at the wrong place at the wrong time, meeting the wrong people at the wrong time, having experiences that she need not have had she worked on her frequency. So that's a one version of me that I accept. Okay, so I'm not throwing her away or judging her, but like this is where she is, and that's matter of factly. And then there is this other version of me, which is also now gaining momentum, because the whole spiritual awakening journey is moving from this 3D self-identification with this person, the pseudo personality, to the other identity, which is more expanded, more loving, more kind, rooted in truth, rooted in love, rooted in unity, rooted in harmony, rooted in abundance, and the truth of who we are, in our expansiveness and connection with the divine. When I'm on this channel, when I'm in this frequency of 5D earth, what it feels like? Pure magic, pure synchronicity. And it's not like just random magic happening randomly. When I consciously choose that this is where I'm at, and it's not like you choose that I'm in 5D like that, but you choose that you trust and you are on that frequency and you believe it enough on a deeper level. That also sometimes takes time. But for me, I've done this for over 5 years, so I have come to, this understanding, and the concepts have really sunk in, some of these. So, enough so that I experience it externally. So, this 5D version, when I'm on this channel, this frequency, what happens with me is that I'm flowing, magic is happening, no matter where I am. Right people are meeting me at the right time, things are just popping, I'm just receiving things that I had been earlier blocked to, like something that I was trying to do just magically happens. Synchronicity guides my everything, so everything is so precisely managed. Precision. Can you imagine, guys? Can you imagine precision on earth? But there is precision. When you are in sync with your 5D version, synchronicity, which means right place at the right time with the right person saying the right thing, and not a second too much here or not a second here or there. And that is the level of precision. And what's coming to my mind is also like, there was this TED talk that I had heard many years back about 5 reasons why businesses fail. So I don't know who talked about this, but you should look it up if you feel aligned to. And I just remember he was talking this and that and whatever the reasons were there, but the number one cause he was saying is the cause for, downfall or failing of startups, just talking about that, was timing. Can you imagine timing? And how can you know timing? And that time when I looked like 10 years back, I think it was like when I was in college. So it was like long back. And I wanted to be an entrepreneur, of course. And just like that is just the thing that calls out to me. But so I felt so out of control, because how do you know what good timing is? And this was like a mystery to me, timing. You never know with timing. Like a matrix person, not to say judgmentally, because I just talked about my own version of that one, matrix version of me. So it's like, I'm also transmuting still all those things. So it's not like sitting on a pedestal here, but with like being a matrix person, your life is defined by off timing. The timing is always off, almost always off, unless you are in a very good mood and it's a good day, or good day because you are in a good mood and you accidentally, randomly attract, but you do not know and cannot pinpoint the cause and effect into why some good thing happened, in that way. But the thing is, with me, once I started having days like this, once I started getting hold of this whole frequency, like it's a state of being in 5D Earth, a version of Earth, not just you. Of course, it aligns with you. So you change yourself, you will be on that version of Earth where everybody is harmonious. Of course, I'm not like telling you to be in a bubble and, and just like cutting everything off and being in this love and light bubble. Of course not. But I'm just telling you, there's the extent to which we have control over our reality is like unfathomable. And that also got clear to me when I was listening to the Carlos Castaneda books, which I've listened to all of those. But anyways, and also many other things and being Indian, I've heard it time and again, and I've like dug myself in books or spirituality and these things. I wanted to learn about these things. This is my soul purpose, life purpose, and this is what resonates with my heart and attracts me. So I was just going through all of this, and I know that, the level of control over your physical reality that you have is too much. In a way, not in terms of what other people do, in that way that you are controlling them, and that's just another narcissistic, controlling, manipulated 3D idea. I'm not talking about that kind of creating of reality. I'm talking about the creation of reality from the 5D perspective that feels like trust and surrender on existence to bring you the best thing at the best time, to bring you the right abundance at the right time, to get you the right place with the right person, having the right conversation at the right time, so it clicks and you both feel rejuvenated, or you both feel enhanced, you both feel expanded, or whatever it might be, right? Even with yourself, or opportunities click, or magic happens, or you're just at the right, in the right energy and you're like vibing. It's like a full vibe. So, and that's a whole version of reality. And in that reality, I'm still learning, but like what I have experienced is magic after magic, pure magic of synchronicity. It's like chef's kiss. But the thing is, what I'm learning is, then I slide off into the 3D version of me, because this is the time of the splitting prism. Oh, that's how it's coming back, full circle. Thank you, Spirit. I don't think I would have been able to do that on my own logically. But it all ties up into a full circle and full knot. The topic that I was talking about, the splitting of the prism. It's that right now is the time of choice. One choice will lead you to the 3D version of you. One choice will very clearly lead you to your 5D version. And how would you know which choice is leading where? You look at the root of that choice. You do not look at the consequences will be, of course, you should look at that also later on. But that's not the important thing, because it's the fruit. But you need to look at the root. And the root is, why have you made that choice? Why are you making that choice in your day-to-day life? For example, okay, this is a sensitive topic for me, but let's just say it. Just kidding, you guys. Let's talk about coffee, So we have this, for example, I like coffee or I don't like coffee, whatever the choice is, whether I want to drink coffee or not drink coffee. Now, this is a choice that I have to make. And if I'm a coffee drinker every day, then this is a choice that impacts my life in whatever way, If it impacts, which it does. A substance like coffee definitely impacts you. But the thing is whether it is impacting you positively and negatively, and why are you taking it? Because you're not feeling vital enough to do the things that you want to do, or you're in a job that is so demotivating and it's not at all aligned, so you just have to need to be in this high fucking vibe, like you have to be so like overstimulated to be able to function, and get over the fact that you hate your job, or some of you out there it might resonate. Or are you drinking coffee? Like, these would be the 3D reasons, because it does not make sense if you're doing it from lack, or as a substitute for something real, or from a fear that if you don't not drink coffee, you might hate your job so much and you feel it to be so boring or like a drudgery that you will eventually end up quitting. And this could be a story that could be running in the background. So that's why it's very important to get in touch with why you're doing something, why you're making the choices that you're making. And I'm also learning, you guys, with coffee. It's like coffee has been the love and hate relationship in my life, and right now, and it was like creating such a big two energy splits. I have to make a decision on this. So this is definitely something that is an open loop in my life, and I have to decide on that as well. But for now, I've like kept that topic on hold, and which I have to decide soon, but kept up that topic on hold for myself because I was just, but the splitting was making me too crazy. So I just allowing myself, and that's where I'm at, and there's more peace there for now. But I know the time of decision is coming. Where one day I'll have to decide whether I want to go down this path or not with coffee, and whether it's serving me or not, and what am I willing to do with it. So yes, so these are the decisions that you need to make, and there'll be like, of course, out of the infinite possibilities that you might have, there'll be two. Make it this concept of choice into a sensible thing. We can, as I've said, put it into two categories of 3D choice and the 5D choice, and that could be a good way, because the 3D choice would lead you to a version of Earth that will not be pleasant, guys, at all. Like, it's a mess. And let's just say that, and you can just look it up, do some research about this, but that's not where you want to be, guys. And on the other hand, this is not to invoke fear, of course. This is to give you more power and like a little bit push to make the decisions that have been long been pending. And the other 5D version of you, if you make that choice, it will lead to a version of you which is like most blessed, most wealthiest, best, whatever you want. It's that, right? Harmonious, and cater to you, who you are on a soul level, on the core. Not just some idea of who you should be. That's not the superficial fluff. As I was also thinking about the whole splitting prism experience, it just clicked to me that the Mandela effect, I think you must be knowing about it, but if you don't, you can look it up. It's where one part of the population feels the history to be one way, and the other part, on a collective level, people imagine or feel that the history was some other way. And this is like a very classic example of splitting of the prism in real life, that we can wrap our mind around, that, or maybe not, but like, which can be palatable to the the mind, because otherwise it makes it so difficult to understand these things if that's not on board fully, which is of course a hindrance that people on the spiritual journey really need to see, that not everything is going to make sense all the time, but they have to be rooted in the heart and for the good of all. And that's a good guiding principle. But anyways, so look it up, and this is, you can, like, looking at the Mandela effect and doing some research about that, you can see that two different people will be having completely different experience, one with this and one with that. Apart from this, what also clicked for me in this way was that, you have articles about health. One would say this is good for you and this is bad for you, the same thing, and they'll give all the justification for it. So this is your option, this is your time for choice. So whatever version of Earth you are on, or whatever decision you have to make, those two articles, you'll align with the article that will align with the frequency of you. One would be for you will be supporting you on your 5D journey, and one will not be supporting you on the 5D journey, whatever it might be for you now. So that is another example of the splitting of the prism, where everything is happening here on earth, and you can see the disharmony in that way and turbulence in that way, that one segment of the population is having like a completely different experience and the other is having a completely different experience. Not just in terms of the externals, but like in terms of their inner state of being. And you can see that by your own state of being. So the two versions of you, one on the 3D and one on the 5D, you have to make the decisions in terms of each and everything that, and as you make more and more decisions in sync with the version of you that is on the 5D, your life will start aligning to the version of earth that is already functioning on the principles of love, light, balance, harmony, right timing, synchronicity, and all those things. And that can be your living reality moment by moment. And that's how you create your dream life, by the way. Not a dream life that you thought mentally of or picked from somebody when you were a kid, but the life that actually resonates with your deepest core, like for the life that you are here to live in this particular life that you thought of living before coming here on earth. So I think that helps. Look into this. I've given a few resources in this, definitely. I'm not feeling like linking anything at this point, but I've already said them. So go and do your research and make the decisions. And I'll also be sharing a little bit about this on my Telegram channel, and you can also follow me on that. The link of that is definitely will be in the description. My Telegram channel is a very intimate group, and just started it, and that's just for the architects of the new world. That's not for, the faint of heart or people who are faking it. And it's going to be a very intimate space, and we'll go all woo-woo there. So, just see for yourself if that resonates with you. Much love to you. Subscribe my channel if this resonates with you, and stay in touch, and also reach out to me on Instagram if you want to personally talk to me about something. Okay. So right now this is open for you. Much love. Take care. Bye.